just 1 goal after half-time.
Kicking with the wind advantage, Sydney showed plenty of tenacity in the first quarter, and it was 34-year-old veteran Craig Davis out to prove footballers can come back. Chris Mew expressed his displeasure over an umpiring decision, but it wasn't quite eyeball to eyeball. Jason Dunstall, with 3 goals in the first half, was the forward which kept Hawthorn in touch. Barry Mitchell was also a great contributor for the Swans, and his 3rd goal would have made even the Socceroos stand up and take notice. But Hawthorn's experience started to pay dividends in the 3rd quarter, with Curran and Loveridge peppering the goals and the Hawks earning a 19-point lead at 3-quarter time. To their credit, Sydney got within 8 points of Hawthorn at the 22-minute mark, but this goal by Morris sealed the match for the Hawks, who ran out winners by 21 points. At VFL Park, with Collingwood looking for 3 in a row, Brian Taylor revved up the Magpies with 4 goals in the first quarter as they raced to a big lead. The Tigers made plenty of mistakes, but Waitman, who played his first game back from suspension, was one of Richmond's better players. Peter Dacos showed glimpses of form, but the Woods team play was first class. Hawke was dominant in the centre. Richmond battled on. Hogg played well and kicked accurately, but the Tigers were simply outclassed by the Magpies. Paul Tudner made the most of his shots at goal, and Collingwood ran out very easy winners by 70 points. To Moorabbin now, and both St Kilda and North had much to prove after starting the season in disappointing fashion, and St Kilda was on top from the opening bounce, with Rod Owen starring up forward. North fought back in the first half of the second term, thanks in no small part to Jim Cracker. They crept closer during the 3rd quarter, finding greater purpose and direction with the ball consistently in the forward line. St Kilda got a sufficient scare to renew its effort during the final term, and at times North found the going a little tough. The game was in the Saints' keeping, and who better to cap it off than Rod Owen? St Kilda by 26 points. And at the Western Oval, the first quarter was one of 2 halves. The opening action belonged to Fitzroy in general, Paul Roos in particular. All eyes were on Terry Wallace. He'd recovered from his controversial injury last week, but would he cop another one? He did. But it wasn't enough to stop him or the Bulldogs. In fact, it was the spark to start them up. The Dogs took a 17-point initiative into the second quarter. They stretched that even further, thanks mainly to the efforts of a slick midfield attack and the Beasley target up forward. The main breaker was Footscray by 25 points. Whatever David Parkin said at half-time seemed to thump the Roys into action. Finally, some flow returned. But not enough, or often enough in the final quarter, this by Petraglia to take Footscray 30 points clear. The Bulldogs just had too many players willing to do the little things, while Fitzroy were big on misjudgment. Footscray today...